I know that it's a bit difficult to not be afraid of trying something new, but I think if you are afraid, it's like the fear is blocking you all the time. So why not follow this curiosity or your feelings and be aware of the fear and still doing it? We can still work with the fear. It's like, okay, I'm afraid even now talking, but still I'm doing this. It's like, I don't want to let the fear to rule my life.
You're listening to The Creative Imposter, episode 102. Welcome to The Creative Imposter. I'm Andrea Klunder, and I was just saying to some friends after teaching yoga on Zoom that I'm kind of bored. It's not that I have nothing to do. I have work for my podcasting clients. I have my own podcasts to make. I have yoga classes to teach and yoga classes to take. I sing. I host twice weekly community Zoom sessions, weekly Zoom happy hours with friends. I have books to read, podcasts to listen to, movies to watch. Okay, now I realize I sound ridiculous for saying I'm bored. Well, if you're feeling the shelter-in-place blues, especially in gorgeous weather like we're having in Chicago, this episode may be just the remedy for you. Ana Paz is a Romanian visual artist living in Switzerland who paints, engraves metal, makes macrame, teaches art classes, and I have been dreaming of attending one of her Italian art retreats for the better part of a year now. Of course, that dream is on hold for the time being. But that's not stopping Ana from sharing what she loves and inviting you to discover something new for yourself to love too. Ana and I recorded this conversation a few weeks ago, which now feels like a few ages ago, and things have changed from then till now, especially in terms of this feeling of waiting. And dare I say in this conversation, hopefulness that things will resolve soon and for the better. I will, of course, be linking to Ana's work and her online classes for you to check out in the show notes for this episode at thecreativeimposter.com/102, linked conveniently for you in the description in your podcast listening app. And in fact, if you remember toward the end of episode 100, Lisa Witter, my show notes writer, suggested making creative imposter oracle cards. And I said in that moment, okay, I can't draw, but I am currently inspired by one of Ana's watercolor classes to experiment, maybe. And just maybe, I have an idea about that, but it's going to take a while. In the meantime, I ask you to consider this. What if being a creative imposter is not about faking it till you make it, but rather Ana's trilogy of creative stages: imitating, integrating, and innovating. Stay tuned for more on that and enjoy my creative dreaming conversation with Ana Paz. Ana, thank you so much for joining me on The Creative Imposter. What time of day is it over there for you?
It's 6:25 actually. It's almost evening.
Evening for you, morning for me. And you are where?
I'm in Switzerland, in a small village close to Bodensee, actually close to the border with Germany and Austria.
So they're speaking German in that part of Switzerland primarily?
Yes, German. Yes.
Okay. Give us a little bit of a picture of what life is like in a small town in Switzerland right now in the midst of the pandemic. Has the government put any conditions in place for you? What's happening?
Actually, it's not so bad like I hear it in other countries like Germany, our neighbor. I mean, we can go out with our dog, we can have a walk in the nature. Also, it's not very strict, but still they want us to stay out as less as possible and to have contact with other people, especially the south of Switzerland, being very close to Italy. They have more restrictions. Especially if you live like we live actually in a very small village in the countryside, and I cannot say that too much change
Hmm.
because we live a little bit like retreated, like in a seclusion. Also, my boyfriend is instrument builder, and we have both studios at home. So our normal life was like working all the week, and maybe in a weekend going to Zurich, meeting some friends. So practically not too much change, just that this weekend escape is not happening now. And the people, you still meet people on the street, like on some hikes and walks, but you don't feel it so much. Like I know that my friends, they feel it in the city.
Are businesses in town still open or have businesses had to close temporarily?
I mean, the people that can do the work at home, obviously they have to do it. And the people that it's mandatory to be at work, they still can travel with the public transportation and they can go there, but has to be something like mandatory to be there.
Tell us a little bit about your work that you primarily do from home in the countryside there, your work as an artist.
So normally in a normal situation, I'm a visual painter, a visual artist, and I'm engraving instruments that my boyfriend is building.
Musical instruments, right?
Musical instruments, yes. Handpans. It's a relatively new instrument. And I'm giving workshops in Zurich twice per month. Also, I'm holding retreats in Switzerland and in Italy. And yeah, now I'm giving some webinars because the situation changed.
Yeah, you were going to do a retreat in Italy. I think I saw it was supposed to be in May.
Yes.
And what is happening with that? Are you still hoping that it will be able to happen? Is it canceled?
Now I'm a big hoper. So for the moment, it's in a standby because we still don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's end of May, like 22, 29th of May. And we hope that at the beginning of May, Italy and Switzerland and the borders are going to open, but still we don't know. So for the moment, I didn't take any decision. I have like a group, a WhatsApp group where I can talk with the clients that everybody already paid.
Right.
And I'm giving like some updates, but for the moment, I'm really waiting to like government decision to in order to take a decision if it will be like postponed for the next year or offering a retreat here. I don't know. For the moment, it's really a big unknown.
Where do your clients for the retreats usually come from? How many different countries or how far away?
Especially from Switzerland are coming, but I'm working a lot with expats, which are working for big corporations like Google or YouTube or other companies here in Switzerland. So I have a lot of also Americans or Canadians or UK, like in general English speakers. I mean, also for other countries, but in general, more like English speakers because of the language.
And do you have a sense of how much of your business, what percentage of your income comes from doing more of this retreat based work versus selling and making art or doing workshops?
I think it's more or less 60% retreat and the rest workshops and yeah, like small retreats, like 1 day or 2 days in my studio. So it's more from the retreats, yes.
Okay, help us dream a little bit of when we can return back to travel and return back to going out and being with people. Describe what one of your art retreats is typically like.
So normally they are in Italy. I'm planning also to do something in Spain if everything gonna come back to normal. And are like 7 or 8 days retreat. It's let's say full immersion into art and creativity. It's full immersion in connecting with yourself because my retreat is in collaboration with a yoga retreat in
Mhm.
Italy, and I'm offering yoga and painting retreat. And we have like sessions of yoga in the morning and in the evening, yoga and meditation, obviously. And we start normally in the morning with some creative exercises where we connect with ourselves. And I'm trying to induce people to connect people with the inner child and with the nature because I think for me and I notice for a lot of other artists the nature is a main source of inspiration. After that, in the afternoon session, we have either like a guided painting session or we have like a free painting session. I'm saying both because in the first days of the retreat, I try to guide a little bit, but not too much. Also, I'm giving this freedom to the people to follow their inner voice. But I realize that they feel more comfortable and more confident when they have some techniques. They already know some techniques. So when I'm guiding, practically also I'm giving some knowledge of the different techniques. So when they want to do something by themselves, when they want to follow their inner voice, they have some tools that they can use. It's not like completely empty basket and they don't know how to, let's say, draw or create an image that they have in their mind. You still need some tools.
Yeah, I like that because I think you really work with people of all levels, right? Whether they have any artistic background or experience with painting.
Yes.
And there's, I don't know if you have this in Switzerland, but in the United States, it's popular right now to go to these painting classes where they show you a painting and then somebody teaches you how to make that exact painting. And then, everyone in a group is basically making the same painting.
Yes.
And everybody's turns out differently, of course.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of trying to make the same thing. And I kind of get why that should be fun. But to me, I don't like it because we're trying to recreate something and we're all kind of doing the same thing. But on the same time, if you're not used to it and somebody says, here is a canvas and here is some paint whatever you want, it can be kind of overwhelming. Like, where do I even begin? I don't know. And so
Yes.
it seems like you're trying to offer both the technique and the structure, but then also the freedom and flexibility to explore.
Yeah, exactly. What is happening is that at the beginning, I started with giving this kind of classes in Zurich.
Mhm.
And I had exactly the same feeling, like, especially like artists, you feel like, okay, I'm going there and I'm going to teach how to paint exactly this painting or what I'm painting, actually, my style. And I felt a little bit frustrated at the beginning because I was like, I don't want to do this because I don't want the people to copy paste what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Not because I'm afraid that they were going to steal my style, but because I want them to express themselves. But after a while, I realized that actually it's good because in this way, they learn some techniques. And in some point, I really trust in the unicity of each person that in some point wants to come out. And when this is happening, they want to paint different. They feel that, it's not themselves when they paint, when they copy something.
Yeah.
So for a while, it's good because you learn. But after a while, I know and I've seen that the people, they try so much to do something different, to put their style and, their unicity, let's say. And in a way, it's how we learn. I mean, everything that we know in this life, we went to school, we copy a little bit our teachers. We went to the first job and we copy what the other, colleagues did. And after that, we start to do the things in our unique way. And after that, we start to create. And I'm saying like trilogy, like imitating, integrating, and innovating. So we need to pass through all these three stages. We first, like the kids, we try to imitate our parents. After that, we have years of integrating information, and like adult, you start to innovate, to create. So I think it's the same thing for artists. And especially when you go to the art school, practically you copy the style of the big names, the big painters. And after that, slowly, you start to find your style, your voice. Yeah, your voice.
And are you painting and creating art in the past few weeks? Are you working on anything personally?
In the last weeks that everything started, I didn't paint anything. Actually, I was thinking, how can I help the people? Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit back because I work like an engineer and I quit my job like 10 years ago and I start painting and going into this direction. So I remember myself like 10 years ago that I was completely restless. I couldn't connect with myself. I was having all the let's say the distraction from the out world, and was very difficult for me to stay at home, do nothing, or entertain myself from inside. And when this came this situation, I was thinking, how can I help the people to give them something that it's easy to start with? They have the materials at home, or it's very easy to buy them from like any supermarket, and they can start to go a little bit into a more creative mood and not just consuming, like, not that it's bad to look at to watch movies and to read books, but in some point maybe you are bored because you have so many hours at home. Maybe you want to create something. So I was thinking at creating webinars and try to give something to the people, like completely free, and to connect also to the people in this way, because obviously we cannot meet and it's more difficult to connect now.
And are you doing your webinars, your online workshops live in the same moment that people are connecting with you at the same time, or are you doing them pre-recorded and then posting them, or both?
No, I'm doing them live actually, because also I like to connect with the people and I want to see if they have questions and I can reply just in that moment right away. And I think I like this adrenaline of live. I think I like also because it's like forcing you to be you, you know, and this is what I think is very important nowadays. The people to be authentic, to be themselves, and also the people to see me like, I mean, like in like bear, you know, like sometimes I make mistakes. Sometimes I don't know, I don't find my words. I don't speak very well English. I'm not maybe the perfect artist, you know, to understand all this process of creating, because I think for many people, being an artist is something like very up there, very abstract, very difficult. And I think that everybody is an artist, everybody is a creator. They just have to find, you know, their way of expressing creatively. Can be art, or can be like writing, or can be through gardening or cooking or dancing or podcasting or whatever. Are so many ways of expressing our humanity and
Yeah.
unicity. So yeah, I love live.
What platform are you using to do the live workshops?
I'm using Twitch, and also I'm using YouTube.
And was that an easy adjustment for you technology-wise? Has it been challenging to figure out how to translate this in-person teaching to a digital platform? How has that been going?
So I was a bit, actually, it was something that I wanted to do for maybe 1 year. And to be sincere, I was very afraid because I'm not a native English speaker
Right.
and I have to do it in English. I realized that exactly this I want to show to the people, that you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to speak English perfectly or to get at a perfection point to give something, to share something, you know. And also the technology was a bit complicated. So I have to be sincere that my boyfriend helped me a lot with the technology. And yeah, I mean, the first time I was a bit nervous at the beginning, but after that, I really got into the flow and I really enjoyed it. And I have to say that I'm so looking forward for the next one.
You said that you feel like you need to do the workshops in English. Is that just because most of your audience is English speaking, or why would you not offer workshops like, say, in German or something?
First of all, because I don't speak German. Actually, I'm
Oh,
Romanian.
okay.
Yes. And because I think English, it's a very broad speaking language. Yeah, for the moment, I mean, I speak also Italian and Spanish, but in the last 6 years, I'm living in Switzerland. And now it's very, I mean, it's much easier to speak in English, to be sincere. And most of my clients are English speakers. So yeah, yeah, that's
Fascinating.
why.
Do you think there are any long-term effects of this pandemic situation that you will feel in your business, or that you will feel in terms of how you approach your art or your work or anything like that? What do you think will be the long-term results or effects of this situation?
I mean, I know it's everything hypothetically, because we talk hypothetically now because we don't know how long this is going to take. Obviously, if it's finishing in a few weeks, from my point of view, like regarding just my career, my art, let's say, field, I have to say that I was pushing this direction of online and live webinars, which actually it's enhancing my palette, what I can offer. So I see it like a positive thing, but I know that it's far, far away from this for other fields. I know that a lot of people, small businesses like freelancers, are very affected, and I don't know, and nobody knows when they can recover, and that it's not so nice. And I hope that everybody can find the opportunity in this situation if it's possible, because I really think that in all the crises are opportunities. You just have to look for something to be creative, but it's not easy. Obviously, I am so aware that it's not easy. How, for example, if I go to my field, I think that a lot of artists, actually I've seen that they went like online, and this is a good thing. I don't know if they want to continue like this after this, if they feel comfortable or not. I hope that they continue, because it's a good thing to offer something else and to go online, because now you can reach much more people online than physically, or you can offer like different kind of product. It's something different to be online and something to be like live and face to face. So yeah, it's a bit hard to say in this moment.
When you were talking about consuming media, like watching movies and things like that, versus being creative or trying something at home to make something rather than to just watch something, do you think it's important for people to find ways to be creative during this time? And why do you think that that's important or helpful?
I think it's very important to find ways. And I think actually that this situation is pushing us. I mean, I'm talking with my friends or clients that are going into direction. They went already in this direction. And I'm not saying just towards art, like everything. It's like knitting or cooking, a bit more like conscious and spending more time. Even with the family, it's like something that, is like a creative relationship. You create something. It's not like running all the time. So I think it's important, because I think it can open like new fields in let's say day-to-day life, even after the situation is passing. I think that many people, they don't have time when they work, but it's like because of this routine that we have of running all the time and doing something that it's easy, like consuming, that you go out with friends and you watch movies, and finally it's filling up your time. And sometimes can be that it's not very satisfactory. I realize that when you do something with your hands, or you are like creative, like you create something, whatever, doesn't matter what, you feel more satisfied, you feel more like fulfilled, you feel that you create something out of nothing. And also your mind, it's, let's say, is changing, and maybe creating something in one field can help you to be more creative in another field, like in your, maybe in your job. It's something that can improve your life in all the levels,
Yeah.
not just in I'm gonna become better at drawing. It's just that it's training your mind to be creative, to see the situation like differently, to be aware that can be more options, that are options, and after that to look for options. That I think that it's it can be just positive things in this.
And is there anything that you're doing personally differently to take care of yourself? I mean, besides shifting to a mindset of how can I be of service to people right now? What can I offer? And how can I transition things online? But personally, are you doing anything extra to take care of yourself?
Like at the beginning, to be sincere, I haven't done anything, because I was like so into this, seeing the opportunity,
Yeah.
and being like, okay, I want to offer this, I want to train this, to do this live webinar and find solution, and how do I get to the people, and which are the options, that I couldn't think it myself. But I have to say that the last 3 days, 2 days, I really felt to really relax and get into this. Okay, now I'm not gonna do anything today. I want to. Actually, today I woke up and I went for a walk with my dog and with my boyfriend, and I came home and I was like, okay, I want to do another film, another video, and to post this and to shoot the people for the next webinar, what I'm gonna do. And I didn't feel it. I was like, I don't know, I don't feel to do this actually. I just feel to relax today.
Yeah.
And I still push myself. And I realized that I'm not happy with the result because it was pushing. So I stopped. I went, I had a bath, I read something, I ate I prepared a nice lunch. And I really, really relaxed. And I realized that, okay, even, being into this creative and more relaxed life, still sometimes you can get, let's say, stress.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. And you have to check out with yourself and your soul and your body what wants in that moment, and give up the mind and the plans and everything, and just relax and respect your body.
Yeah. That sounds like really good advice, actually, right there. Do you have any other advice specifically for artists right now at this time?
I have to say that I think a lot of artists, they already connect with themselves. Because I think this is the main thing that an artist has to have, this connection with what they feel and the emotions, the feelings, and how they express that. But anyway, I think that it's the most important thing is to connect with the body, to chill out. I think that I know that everybody talks about meditation now and everybody's doing meditations, but it's really helps. And that's the truth. And when I lived in ashram for 2 years, and I was doing so much meditation, and now I'm not doing actually every single day, but just if you have like 5 minutes and be aware of how the body is in that moment. And if you need to go to sleep or watch a movie or have a bath or listen some music or just dance or go out if you can in the nature, connect a bit to the nature, I think it's this, respect your inner feelings.
Last two questions. Do you have any advice for someone who does not consider themselves to be an artist, but who is feeling like they want to dabble in doing something creative and new? Like, where should they start? What can they do?
I think that the most important thing is to just start with whatever they feel. I think it's the curiosity that is the first trigger. So if you have a curiosity in some field that it's like, I don't know, maybe music or some like poetry or some kind of painting that it's aquarelle or acrylic or just ink or whatever. Maybe you like some geometric shapes and you like to do some cubes or whatever, doesn't matter. I would suggest to follow that feeling, that curiosity. And I think it's nice to study, I don't know, people that they are in these fields, and just try things, because it's just a piece of paper. You draw something or you write a poem or whatever, and it's like Elizabeth Gilbert said in The Big Magic, nobody dies. It's just a canvas. you know? It's just a canvas. So nothing can happen wrong if you like it or not. I think it's not good to judge at the beginning. It's good to go to the feeling. How did you feel when you did that? And if you felt good, just continue, because by definition, you're going to improve in time. I would say it's like a rule that whatever you do, like a lot of time, in some point, you're going to improve.
Anna, is there anything else that you wanted to share with our listeners that you didn't get a chance to say or that you feel like we need to hear right now?
I think the most important thing is this, to connect with yourself. I know that it's a bit difficult to not be afraid of trying something new, but I think if you are afraid, it's like the fear is blocking you all the time. So why not follow this curiosity or your feelings and be aware of the fear and still doing it? The fear won't disappear, never. For any artist or for every person in this world, it's a built-in mechanism that we have, and I think it's there for some reason, but we can still work with the fear. It's like, okay, I'm afraid even now talking, but still I'm doing this. It's like, I don't want to let the fear to rule my life. It's there, it's okay, but I still want to do what I love and to share with the people what I love. So I think this is what a lot of people block themselves, because they let the fear to rule and to drive them instead of the curiosity and passion, or maybe passion, it's too big the word, but I think curiosity is it's good.
So what do you think? Do you want to come make art with me and Ana in Italy when we can? In the meantime, be sure to explore Ana's work and online classes in the show notes for this episode, conveniently linked in the description in your app and at thecreativeimposter.com/102. There, you will also find links to join me for my weekly Sunday yoga class with live music via Satnam Yoga on Zoom, our twice-weekly community Zoom calls to connect socially in a very low-pressure, enjoyable, genuine sort of way, and my brand new online podcasting classes, Launch Your Podcast, and Get Better Interviews, available exclusively on Patreon, where you can get started for just $5. Or if you need more one-on-one help creating your own podcast, book a complimentary consultation with me to find out how we can work together. This episode was mixed by Edwin Ruiz of Mondo Machine. Our theme music is by Jovia Armstrong. I thank you so much for listening, and this week I am inviting you to follow your curiosity, try something new, and share what you love.